Hi, I'm Melody.
I'm Candi.
And I'm Gabe.
And you're listening to
Quirks,
Bumps,
and Bruises. We're going to talk a little travel today.
Location.
It is all about location.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to ask you the question. You think of a place that you have been to in your lifetime already, and if you had to tell another person that before you leave this earth, you have to go to this place to visit, where would that place be for you? So, Gabe, I'll come to you first, right off the top of your head, in the United States of America. And, hey, by the way, if you're driving in a car, it's going to cost you a little more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Can we ride a bike?
Possibly. Might take longer to get there.
Where to?
I saw a cute meme just yesterday, and it was a picture of a motorcycle, and it said, for sale, $8,000. And then below it said, with full tank of gas, $28,000.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's a truth.
Ain't that the truth?
It's funny because it's true.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
So, Gabe, where would you recommend to other people to go that you got to do this? You got to go.
I've been very blessed to be able to go a lot of places in America and worldwide. But if we're talking in America, the first thing I thought of would be Washington, D.C.
Ah,
I absolutely loved traveling there. I've been there just twice, but I really want to go back again with my wife and then when my son gets a little older because I am a political nerd.
yes, you are.
I love politics. I love everything around it. I'm also a history nerd when it comes to just learning things about the past and everything that we can learn about it going forward. But there's just so much great stuff that people used to do before our time period where it just seems like everything we do just nothing makes sense now.
And you are extremely patriotic.
Yes. So I think that's why I would recommend it because, Melody, you spoke before about how whenever you were in, I guess, middle school, like that was a requirement. Like that was just part of the curriculum. You took a trip to D.C. and you went there. And a lot of people have done that as school trips and things. And I think that's extremely important that we learn because everything, the hub of our country, but also just how much history is there, all the monuments. It is really life-changing when you walk through those war monuments, for example, and you read the names on all of those walls of all the men and women that died so that you can do what you do every day. It truly is life-changing when you think about it. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
The eternal flame.
Yes, when you go and you look at that there in Arlington and you stand in Arlington and you just look at the hillside of just rolling hills and all those fields of white crosses, and every single one of those white crosses was a person with a family and a future, and they're in that spot now so that you can do what you do every day freely, and it truly is life-changing. And then if you look among all the monuments and the buildings and everything, there is scripture engraved on nearly, if not every single one of those buildings. And you absolutely cannot deny the foundations of our nation are built in the Bible, in Christian values. And that's something that's being lost. Those are being erased. Those are being taken down. Those are being written out of our history books. And it's truly very, very sad. So I loved everything about D.C. I was able to take a group of teenagers there when I was a youth pastor. We went and did some homeless ministry there right in D.C. And that was part of it. I told my kids, I'm like, y'all just be ready for some history lessons. Y'all just be ready for some of this because we're going to do ministry. We're going to do good stuff. But I'm also going to make sure that y'all go to these places. I took my kids to Arlington. I took them to the war memorials. If I have you for a few days, we're going to learn that because I felt like that was just really my responsibility as overseeing them and also as an American to help teach them what possibly they wouldn't otherwise know about. So I would go to D.C. only, I am political nerd and history nerd, but just for an American to truly get a good grasp of our roots, our history, I think that's very important. So I'd go to D.C.
Fantastic answer, I think.
I'd love to go back.
Yeah.
So, Melody, you've lived a very fun and fulfilled, full life. You've done a lot of stuff. That wasn't an old joke, by the way, I promise.
I think it was.
It wasn't. It wasn't. You have a lot of fun
mouth
stuff.
is an old joke.
So what about you, Melody?
I haven't done an extensive amount of travel, especially outside of the United States. I know we're talking about inside. So inside of the United States, if there was a place I would say you've got to go, there were two places as a young girl that I always said I wanted to go to. One was Alaska, which I have never been to yet.
We need to make that happen.
That's like a bucket list item.
We should.
Yeah, Bill Gaither.
I was going to say, you need to take the Gaither cruise
Bill
to Alaska.
Gaither, are you listening? because I really would like to go to Alaska, and I'd like to bring my two friends, Candi and Gabe, along with
Oh,
me.
that's so sweet.
And let me tell you something, Bill Gaither, you'll never be the same.
That's the truth.
the whole ship wouldn't be the
The
same.
whole ship would never be the same.
They
But
might leave us there.
Yes, we probably won't come back. We'll be buried in an iceberg. But so that was one place. The second place was Hawaii. I would, you would see pictures of Hawaii on the news, and I was like, man, that just looks like paradise. I'd love to go there. I never thought I would get to go there, but I did get to go there. Because my younger brother, who now is a 4-star admiral in the Navy, that's still hard to say and believe, but he is. And at the time, he was stationed at Pearl Harbor. And so he lived there, and we were able to go and spend a lot of time with him and just see a lot of the Hawaii tourist attractions. Like I went to the Dole Plantation. And yes, I had me some Dole Whip. I sure
Look
did.
at you.
And and went to the Polynesian village to see the culture of Hawaii. And yes, I went to a luau and put a lei around my neck. Oh, yes, I did.
Grass
so I
skirt?
did. I didn't go that far for the sake of humanity, but but I did go and did all the touristy things. Got to visit Pearl Harbor. Was out in a boat. At that time, it was being
Incredible.
worked on, but we got to get in a boat and go around it. And over there on the bank was my brother because he lived right there.
Like Pearl Harbor,
Was
the
his
monument
back-
was his backyard, right?
His backyard. But the cool thing about it too, it's a sentimental place for me now because Lindsay, my daughter, was proposed to there. So at my brother's house in Pearl Harbor, he had a dock that went out to the water that you could literally jump off the dock and swim to the monument. It's crazy. Y'all, it's crazy.
Crazy.
But on that dock at the end of it is where Ben proposed to my daughter. So that was just a lot of fun. So I have a lot of sentimental stuff wrapped around that. But I will tell you that Hawaii is breathtakingly beautiful.
It seems like it's for me the perfect place because it has two of my favorite things: the beach and mountains, all in the same spot.
Yeah,
That's why it'd be perfect for me.
Oh, and we would drive. When I go to places that I've never been to before, I love to just get in the car and drive because you find treasures. And so you're right. You will be driving down roads of Hawaii, and over to your right is the ocean. Beautiful, as you can imagine. But to the left are these massive mountains. So it is just a gorgeous, gorgeous place to visit. So if I could say, if you get the chance, you better go. You better go there.
I've never been, but it's definitely on my list. I do want to go to Hawaii. All right, D.C., Hawaii, Candi. Where in America have you been that would say you've got to go? Where would it be?
Okay, so both of you, your answers were very classy and very we should go there. It's very.
I think I know what's coming.
You want to take us to the hot dog shack, Barb?
I want to take you to Orlando, Florida.
Well, that's classy.
Oh,
Do you
we
know
do.
what's
I do
there?
know what's coming.
Disney World. Y'all, it really is the most magical place on earth. It really is. And I'm like, if I had the choice to go out of the U.S.A, I would still say Orlando, Florida, Disney World.
And she's being truthful.
I'm
about
being
that.
truthful. There is something, and I love Disney. So if you're not a big Disney fan, I can't promise you that you'll love it as much as I did. But the feeling that you get when you're there, and I just remember nothing else mattered when I was there. You just felt like you were just in the moment. And when you're there with friends and family, it's just you feel like you're in another place, in another world.
So I have to tell the story on you.
Y'all went together, didn't you?
Very
We
first
did.
time. And
10 years ago.
yeah.
She was
World.
27 and she had never been. And I said, I'm taking you to Disney.
Well, I've never been. Take me to Disney.
That
Go on.
You didn't want to go there. You wanted to
Go
go to
on.
Washington.
not many times I'm speechless, but I think I just was. I took her. I said, I'm taking you to Disney. You've got to go. So we got on an airplane, me and little Miss Candi over there, and we went. So we go to Magic Kingdom. And it was like I had a 3-year-old. Honestly, I'm pretty sure I bought a leash so I'd make sure she stayed
Oh, I've
with
met her.
me.
I can imagine.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But I made her cover her eyes, and I walked her to the castle, but she didn't know that's what she was in front of. So she had her eyes covered,
Unreal.
and I said, on the count of 3, Now, there's people everywhere. I know people are looking at us like, what in the world?
But it didn't matter.
It didn't matter. I said, on the count of 3, open your eyes. 1, 2, 3. She opens her eyes, and there is that big castle. And she cried a little bit.
I'm not going to lie. There were some tears in my eyes.
And I was like the mother. I was like, oh! I was like so thrilled. Look, Candy, look. And it was just so funny. And so we spent a week at Disney doing everything. She and I rode every roller coaster at every park.
Every roller coaster and eat every bad item of food that we could find.
Oh, you got to.
Oh, yeah.
You got
but
to.
It was just so, and I'm so thankful that I was there with Melody, and she had been there and she knew all the ins and outs. But, you know, you're one of my closest friends, and to be able to go and experience that with you was so much fun. And I'm just keep waiting for the invitation to go back. I mean,
well,
that was
we
10
actually
years
did
ago.
go back.
We did.
And we took our Candy
My
took her
mom.
mother, and I took my daughter. So it was a mother-daughter trip.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually kind of for Lindsay's 25th birthday.
Goodness.
And so it was fun. And it is a magical place. It just is. There's just something about it when
and they
you
make
go.
everything over the top wonderful.
Yes.
Like everything they do is done with excellence. And so you just feel it.
So I've never been. It's on my list as well. Never been. But Candy, if you had to pick your favorite park, what park should I make sure you absolutely got to? Which one?
It's hard to do that. They're all wonderful, but I just feel like if you could only go to one, you need Magic Kingdom.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's got to go through It's a Small World after all in a boat.
Really.
With that song playing over and over,
And-
with creepy dolls looking at you.
Oh, so that part wasn't so
Epcot.
magical.
Yeah. Epcot was very educational, and to where you could go and like you saw, I mean, they have it, the scenes are set up just like, I mean, it's unreal.
And you can eat in Mexico one day and Japan,
Yeah.
and, you know,
We took a boat ride in a Mexican restaurant
through the middle of it.
through the middle of it in this big, like, pyramid type looking fancy restaurant. Yeah, we did that. And I mean, you just can't do that every day.
Going back to Magic Kingdom, though, Candy did find out something about herself when we got on Space Mountain.
Okay, so that's where I discovered that I was claustrophobic. I didn't know what it was at the time, but I don't know if you're familiar with Space Mountain, but you get in these individual, very small compartment that our space, you know, NASA, these are what people go to the moon in.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in one of those, very tight,
And completely dark.
completely dark. And I remember I didn't know what a panic
It really
attack
was a small world, wasn't it?
It was
After
a small
all.
world. Like, I didn't know what that felt like, but being in that, I thought something is not right about this, and I need to get out. And at just the time I almost lost it, the ride was over. It was done.
And I'm like, you want to do it again?
I said no.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that she was struggling in that ride, you know, because usually on all the other 457 roller coasters we rode.
Do it again.
Yeah, she was all in it. But that one, I think the darkness
Yeah.
and not being able to see out. And so, yeah, she found out she was very claustrophobic during that.
But then 2 seconds later, when I got out and saw the castle again, I was fine.
Right.
I just
You
love
recovered
Disney
quickly,
World,
didn't you?
y'all. I want to go right now. I am broke as all get out. But I want to go.
Oh, join the club.
Thanks for listening to the Quirks, Bumps, and Bruises podcast with Melody, Candy, and Gabe. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and share the podcast. You can learn more at joyfm.org.
Try Peas and Carrots podcast for more encouragement. Brian and Kayla share life from their piece of the vegetable patch. Expect a laugh, find common ground, and hear stories you can't wait to share. It's a podcast about doing life together, growing in Christ together, and learning to laugh no matter what comes your way. Search Peas and Carrots podcast wherever you listen to podcasts today.